Can you actually have a good, satisfying conversation about politics with somebody you really disagree with? Hi, I'm Professor Seth Freeman, and in this brief talk, I want to share with you a simple tool that can actually help you do that. It's something that's helped many of my students do exactly that. They've gone out to all sorts of different countries and had conversations with people about all kinds of volatile political issues and come back and said, oh my gosh, not only did I have a really good conversation, but the other one, the one I was talking with, said this was really good, let's do it again, I so enjoyed this. How does that happen? Well, here what I want to share with you are 3 words that are really the key to the whole thing. Paraphrase, praise, probe. And briefly, what that means is that you want to do 3 things in the conversation. First, you want to say back or paraphrase what the other one is saying so well that the other one says exactly or something like that. Then you want to praise something they've said. You want to praise something they've said that you can truthfully appreciate, validate, learn from, say something positive about. And third, you want to signal you're shifting the conversation now, and what you want to do is now probe, meaning ask questions with a tone of curiosity. And you just repeat this process, paraphrase, praise, probe, and at some point you can start to talk about your own views on the issue after you've done this, because what this does is it builds tremendous goodwill. It allows you to tap the heart, not just the mind. And let me show you how this might work. So imagine that I'm talking with an uncle, Steve, at a holiday dinner, and off to the side he says, listen, I don't believe the earth is round. I believe the earth is flat. And he continues. He says, look, we don't experience the earth moving or revolving as it's supposedly going 1,000 miles an hour around and around. And yet when we're on a carousel, we experience the motion, even though it's going 5 miles an hour. How do we reconcile that? Now, coming as I do from argument school, or as you know, at law school, I might be tempted to just argue with Uncle Steve. But what if instead I use paraphrase, praise, probe? What I might do, since it's much less likely to work to just argue with him, what I might instead do is this. I might say, okay, so Uncle Steve, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that you can't simply accept the round earth theory. You're saying that the flat earth theory makes more sense to you because your own direct experience is that you don't feel the earth spinning around as it supposedly does, but that it feels like you're on a stationary object, whereas even on a carousel, you experience motion. So how do we reconcile that? Am I hearing that right? And he goes, exactly. And just there, what I've done is I've validated him, not his idea, but him. And that is what people most want. And it touches the heart, and it draws connection, and it builds trust. And then I can go further and I can say, well, Uncle Steve, let me praise you, because what I hear you doing is what any good scientist does, saying I'm not going to rely on mere authority, but I'm going to actually look and listen and see what I'm experiencing and see if I can make sense of the world. And that's in the spirit of science. I really honor that. I really do. And let me stop there. That too is truthful. I'm actually seeing something that Uncle Steve is doing. He's saying, I don't want to just rely on what I'm told. And that really is a good thing, and it's worthy of praise. I'm not just buttering him up. I'm trying to hear that. And that has the same benefits. It actually builds support too. And then I can say, and now I'm going to explore this with you, if I may. I've heard that you're saying that you want to only accept direct evidence, but I've heard that astronauts and others who have gone into space, who've taken photos, who have actually traveled from one point on the Earth to another by plane in ways that a flat Earth wouldn't permit, they've all seen the Earth's curvature and they've all experienced these things firsthand. And it sounds like you're ruling out that kind of evidence. What am I missing here? And here I'm actually exploring with him, not in an argumentative way, but I'm actually raising a question. And that allows us to engage in a way that makes it go, huh. And we're we're talking. And at some point, I might share my own view. Uncle Steve, with respect, I must say that given that there really does seem to be overwhelming evidence in all kinds of forms, direct and inferred, even very intuitive stuff, I have to admit, my own sense is that the Earth is round. What do you make of this? And we can talk further about it. But I've only shared my view after I've spent some real time paraphrasing, praising, probing. And the virtue of this, first and most importantly, is not to change Uncle Steve's mind, but rather to touch his heart and to love 3% better. And it's a happy byproduct that when we do these things, by the way, it may very well be one of the best ways to maybe change somebody's mind, but that's just icing on the cake. So I invite you to try Paraphrase, Praise, Probe, and if you'd like to know more, check the comments and you'll see a link to a Time magazine article in which I was interviewed about to Paraphrase, Praise, Probe. So that's all I got. If you like this, put a like, give it a like button, comment, and visit my website, ProfessorFreeman.com. I'm Professor Seth Freeman. Thanks.